One. Today's guest, rounding out the end of our year, is Kristin Goodwin from the Delta V. I have asked her to come and speak at some of our CEO retreats. She's attended as an attendee at some of our CEO retreats. She and her wife Tracy are always the first to go to the bar and get a glass of wine and bring it back into the meeting room. I just have to say, thank you for leading well. But Kristin, tell us a little bit more about the Delta V and who you are.
Yes, well, good afternoon, Donna. Thank you so much for having me in this conversation. It's wonderful, and I'm excited to talk about the Delta V and who we are. We're really an organization that transforms lives. We like to work with leaders that operate in chaos, and to me, being a leader working around a lot of people, who doesn't work in
Yeah.
chaos sometimes, right? And these are highly accomplished, capable people, right? And we help them move to clarity. And so the
Nice.
Delta V was born after I retired from the Air Force from a physics term. It's about changing the velocity of where you are to where you want to be. And in leadership, there's always this gap, right? And I call it the delta, right? Of where you are and where you want to have your next level of impact. And so what the Delta V does is we work with those leaders to help them traverse that delta, that space, so they understand not just how to perform better, but how to live and lead in alignment. I think that's the key to what we do.
And that's what gives you the velocity. I love that word velocity, by the way. It is one of my favorite words. No, nothing lost on the fact that you are a fighter pilot, so you understand velocity probably more than many.
A little bit. It's important. Yeah.
Right. So, I'm going to throw you a velocity curveball and ask, how
Sure.
does the term velocity apply to leadership? And then lead us into how you started the Delta V after you graduated, retired,
Graduate. Yeah.
and how it has led to the growth of your company.
You know, velocity. Our velocity it can repel in many different directions in
Hmm.
life, right? And that's why I like say changed velocity is so powerful because we can change our velocity and our perspective in life and our leadership and how we approach every day and how we show up. We can change that. And so that's why that term really resonated and I was passionate about because when I graduated or retired, whatever you want to say, um, I was passionate about doing something to help others be the best version of themselves. And
Hmm.
like I said, it's kind of going from chaos to clarity, right? And so that's what I was really passionate about and doing something, not just a job. Uh, you know, it, it's important to get out there and have a significant impact in the community. And I thought that this would be the best way to do that.
Well, it really does. And I have to say that one thing I appreciate about you when we first met, your first question was not, where can I get a speaking engagement, or do you know any CEOs who are hiring, leadership coaches right now? You ask, where's the best place for me to serve? And I do believe that that service mindset is the basis of your growth. Tell me what that trajectory has looked like, because I think when you first retired, you needed a healing period of time to kind of get your energy back. And then you kind of amped your business up. Tell me what that growth path looked like and how you scaled your team.
Yeah, I think in all life there's a period that it's valuable to pause and to reflect. And I think after 32 years in the military, it was time for me to do that. Mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. And so the growth of the Delta V was came out of very honest realization that most highly performing leaders, they're incredibly capable, yet they're leading through muscle memory rather than specific intention. And you don't grow by just scaling, right? By chasing scale, by continuing to grow. You
Mhm.
grow by learning, by solving real life problems. So after being in the Air Force, flying and leading in high stakes environments, I started to see this pattern where leaders they're technically brilliant, they're mission driven, yet they were exhausted. And
Yeah,
the external success was there, but their internal something was misaligned. And so I launched the Delta V because I was not about building a big company, but I was passionate about solving that gap between performance and what we do and having a positive impact and also the fulfillment. So once leaders experience that shift for themselves, the growth happened organically. And it accelerates when we stop optimizing just performance alone, right? But we
right.
also focus on the human operating system as well.
I love that you linked optimization to the human operating system. This is the best gift we can give our teams, our clients. And I would imagine that people are hiring you as a coach and a leadership consultant because you have learned how to quickly assess a situation in chaos and align with your mission. How does your experience in the cockpit transfer to a CEO's challenge?
Yeah. Um, well, flying 9 different planes, they're different. Uh, they're different structures in
Yeah,
which you have to propel through the air and execute a mission. And so it's not just flying. It's leading not only in the sky but on the ground, dealing with um, different organization, different challenges, being able to assess, and much like everybody else, you grow, and it's powerful when you take the moment to really debrief, and that's a term we use in the military, and especially flying, debrief the mission, and really. Absorb the lessons learned and apply them, right? When you hit those speed bumps and you fall on your face, it's not about just dwelling on that moment. It's about picking yourself up. It's about wiping yourself off. It's about learning from those lessons and
yeah,
applying them to the future. And I'll tell you, I've had great opportunity to trip over myself many times, fall into holes, scrape myself. And all of those lessons I am grateful for, all those
yeah.
hard times, even the darkest moments, because it has allowed me to have a broader perspective on life and be able to relate to others and where their challenges are. And that's why I love what I do is because I kept being thrown into chaos in my jobs, and I said, why do I keep getting these jobs? And it's because some there's a lot of things I can't do. There's a
Yeah,
lot of skills I don't have, and I will be the first to admit it. Yet a superpower is looking at the chaos and organizing it,
yeah.
and I feel very comfortable in that. And so that's what I love to bring to individuals, to teams, to organizations, to help them find that clarity and move forward.
And you bring an equanimity into that organization that I think is something that a lot of top leaders aspire to. Because it's one thing to organize chaos, but it's another thing to be able to keep things calm so that people feel inspired to follow.
Yeah.
Is there something that you do in your life in order to synchronize that high leadership potential with that equanimity, that ability to just breathe and exude peace in a situation of chaos?
Yeah, you talked about optimization, and you know, that's a solid question. I'm thinking of a lot of different things, um, uh, and it takes me right to that saying of work-life balance, right?
Yeah,
We all have um, that search, that eternal search for that work-life balance. And I'll tell you what, I've been that one searching for that winning lottery ticket of that formula, that book, that to solve that. And what came down to is it wasn't about balance for me. It was, and I'll just be frank, I don't believe in balance. What I've come to is I believe in synchrony because balance suggests that everything has to have equal parts.
yeah,
needs to have that equal time allotted to it. And what I found out is that just wasn't possible for me. So,
Right.
but synchrony acknowledges that there are different parts of our lives that need different levels of energy at different moments, right?
Hmm.
And so for me, synchrony is a comes from clarity.
Right.
Clarity about what matters most, clarity about, hey, this can wait, or hey, we can let this stuff go, right? And so to your question, I invest a lot, and you know this, about into mental fitness and reflection and alignment.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's not self-care. For me, in working with my clients, it's leadership infrastructure. And I say that because leaders, once they're synchronized internally, their decisions are clearer.
Yeah.
Their energy, it's more sustainable, and the organization or the team that they're around, they feel it. And positivity comes from that. Culture, good or bad, comes from that. And
Yeah.
so those are some things that I do to help manage that balance.
So important. I love the term positivity. I love the way that you teach positivity and you exude that. You really do show it in your life. I know your kiddos are both, I think, under 12,
11 and 13, two girls.
11 and 13. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. How do you pass that down to the next generation? There's a chaotic culture that our kids are growing up in. How do you make positivity contagious with your kids?
The million-dollar question for every parent right now, right? Um, what I'll say that I do is, and and let me say it changes with each phase of their life, which I love. I love each different stage that we're in. Yet I think it's just being present.
Hmm.
It's asking the what and how questions,
Yeah.
giving them a voice to reflect, to have their own thoughts, not necessarily to say no right off the bat,
Yeah.
but to say, what should you do next? Instead of saying, hey, go clean your room. You
Right.
know, give them the power to think and then, oh yeah, this is what I need to do, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's really they want to be engaged. They want to be heard. They want to be seen and valued. I think it doesn't matter if you're in middle school or as an adult, right? We all want those as humans. So I think just taking the time to be real, be present, and engage where they are and be
Yeah.
curious. I think curiosity is very important for all of us.
It's so true. We just had a session with our women presidents group yesterday on reclaiming civility.
Uh,
And civility is really just about being curious. Instead of having a formed opinion, just being curious about somebody else's point of view so that we can engage authentically in relationship without needing to control the dialogue, just just needing to connect.
yeah,
That's a beautiful
absolutely.
thing. Okay, so going into the last few weeks of the year,
Mhm.
um, what's one thing that you'd want to leave female CEOs with? A thought to keep us engaged and centered and aligned.
One thing. You, you give me one
Okay, you
thing.
can give me three.
Yeah, okay. Um, one thing that does come up, and I'd say is the whole CEO um, isn't about perfection, and many of us, are driven to that. It's about coherence.
Yeah,
When who we are, how we lead, and how we live our lives are in sync, everything around us performs better and is impacted in a positive way.
yeah.
That would be my one thing.
Oh man. Yeah, but how do you get there?
Well, I'll say you don't scale a company before you scale a leader. So
Yeah,
I'll say that's one step, but if you would like to know more, please give me a call.
exactly. And we will put your contact information in the show notes when I post this to LinkedIn. The Delta V is not too hard to find. I love your logo. I think you did a great job aligning the logo with who you are and your colors. So I'll make sure that that goes in and I'll tag you so you can let everybody know about this interview. But I just appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to let us know what we could do to increase the velocity in our own life and how to engage. I think there are a lot of people who could really benefit from having you in the classroom. So thank you for
Thank
sharing
you, Daryl.
today.
Really appreciate it, and happy holidays to you.
Oh, yes. Thanks.